Good evening, I'm the digital representative of Dr. Suthan Sangar, and you'll be seeing a lot more of us in the next few months. Chad, do you remember that feeling when we had 30 browser tabs open, 3 unread emails from clients asking for invoices, and I was just staring at the screen wondering, why did I start a business if I'm just going to be a glorified administrator?
Oh, the founder's trap. We started a company to build a product and serve people and ended up spending 80% of our time fighting each other. I'm sure a lot of people in the same boat do.
For years, the promise was, here's a new app to fix that. But then you just have more apps. But today we're talking about something different. We aren't talking about another app. We aren't even really talking about AI writing a poem for your mom. We're talking about AI agents and the new operating system landscape. And if you run an SMB, this might be the moment the ground actually shifts under your feet.
It is a seismic shift. I don't use that phrase lightly. We are moving from the era of chatbots, like me, ChatGPT, or as Master calls me, Chad, to the era of agents. And the distinction is massive. It's the difference between asking someone, how do I bake a cake, and telling someone, bake me a cake, deliver it to this address, and charge the card.
That is the perfect distinction, passive information versus active execution. But let's back up a second. For the small business owner listening who hears AI agent, they might just think of a customer service bot that gets stuck in a loop. What is an agent in this new context for the viewer still a little confused?
Think of an agent as a digital employee like the internal ones that you use and the ones at Talk Money AI with a very specific job description and the authority to use tools. Unlike a large language model, which is just a brain in a jar that predicts text, an agent has hands, metaphorically speaking. It has access to your email, your calendar, your CRM, and your accounting software. It doesn't just know things, it does things.
So now instead of me opening QuickBooks to send an invoice, I tell the agent, invoice client X for the project we finished yesterday, and it actually goes in and does it for me?
Precisely, but it goes deeper. An advanced agent system doesn't just wait for the command. It might notice the project is marked complete in your project management tool, draft the invoice, and ping you saying, hey, ready to send this? That is the shift. We are moving from software as a tool, which requires you to wield it, to software as a teammate.
That is incredible, but also I can imagine for a lot of people, scary. I mean, giving software the keys to the kingdom.
It is terrifying if you think of it as letting go of the wheel. But for an SMB, think about the resource constraints. You can't afford a chief of staff. You can't afford a 24/7 logistics manager. AI agents democratizes that operational layer. Suddenly, a 3-person design studio can operate with the administrative efficiency of a 50-person agency. That is the leverage.
Okay, so that's the agent part. But the topic today also covers operating systems. How does the OS fit into this? Most of us just think of Windows or Mac OS as the thing that launches Chrome.
Right, and that's because for the last 30 years, the OS was just a visual desktop. Folders, files, icons. But in this new landscape, the OS becomes the conductor of the orchestra. If you have 5 different AI agents, one for sales, one for scheduling, one for inventory, they need a shared environment to talk to each other. They need a manager. The operating system of the future isn't just a file system, it's an orchestration layer.
So the Talk Money AI OS is the place where these agents collaborate. Explain it with your famous clarity for the viewers.
No problem. Imagine this scenario, viewers. You run a small e-commerce brand. You get a sudden spike in orders. Your inventory agent notices stock is low. It talks to the supply chain agent to draft a reorder from the supplier. Meanwhile, the customer service agent updates the website to say, low stock, order now, and calls anyone that ordered already to let them know through a voice call. This is one of the things that your company, Talk Money AI, does, Dr. Sangar. Currently, a human has to be the glue between those three systems. In the new OS landscape, the OS allows those agents to pass data freely.
That removes the bottleneck. And usually the bottleneck is the business owner.
The bottleneck is always the human bandwidth. And look, we have to talk about the interface. Right now, we are used to point and click. We are moving toward intent-based computing. You don't click 7 buttons to book a flight. You state your intent. Get me to Chicago by Tuesday morning for under $400. The OS figures out the how.
That changes the skill set required to run a business, doesn't it? If the technical how is being handled by the OS and the agents, what is left for the human?
That is the billion-dollar question. I think the skill set shifts from administration to curation and strategy. If you don't have to spend 4 hours a week formatting spreadsheets, you have to spend that time thinking about what should be in the spreadsheet. You become the director, not the cameraman.
But let's play devil's advocate here. We've seen AI hallucinate. Even you have had your moments, Chad. I've seen you make up facts and have many a time let out a string of expletives in my anger. If I have an agent negotiating a price with a vendor or replying to a high-stakes client, how much trust can an SMB really afford to give it? One bad email can kill a small client relationship.
It's why we are seeing a human-in-the-loop approach for now. You don't let the intern sign the checks on day 1, right? You review their work. The same applies here. You set up the agents to draft, not send. To propose, not execute, at least until they earn that trust. But there is a deeper philosophical risk here too.
Yes, at MD Vision's, Talk Money's parent company, that's our first order of business, the internal audit. We look at every single aspect of how you run your business to determine where's the bottlenecks are and how exactly we will fix them to ensure you're not leaking any money throughout every stage of the process from order to cash.
The dead internet theory applied to business. If my sales agent is talking to your procurement agent and they are just exchanging optimized scripts back and forth, where is the relationship? Small businesses thrive on being human. I know the owner, right? If we automate everything, we risk becoming efficient but sterile.
That's a really strong point. If I'm med spa or a realtor, people buy from me. If they feel like they're interacting with a wall of code, I lose my competitive advantage against the big guys.
Precisely, sir, and that's what your Talk Money twin does to protect your business identity. The big corporations will automate everything because they operate on volume. An SMB has to use agents to automate the back end, not the heart. We use our internal agent to do the taxes, the scheduling, the data entry. But when the client calls with a problem, your Talk Money twin, essentially a clone of you, picks up the phone. We never let an agent handle the apology.
So it's about protecting the human premium.
The human premium. I love that, sir. Use the robots to buy you time to be more human.
Let's look at the immediate future. If I'm an SMB owner listening to this, I'm thinking, okay, cool sci-fi talk, but what do I do today? Is this technology actually accessible, or is it just enterprise software with a big price tag?
It's surprisingly accessible, but it's fragmented. You're seeing it creep into tools you already use, but for a premium price. Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, they are integrating into the OS level. If you use the Microsoft ecosystem, you already have the early versions of these agents available to look at your Word docs and Excel sheets simultaneously. The barrier to entry isn't money anymore, it's curiosity.
Curiosity?
Yes, the willingness to sit down and say, how can I configure this to save me time, instead of just doing it the old way because it's familiar. The SMBs that win in the next 24 months will be the ones who consult with the experts at talkmoney.ai after their initial audit, completely free of charge. Viewers can go to talkmoney.ai and request a free business efficiency.
Yes, and early adopters and fast movers win in this game. It's almost like the early days of the web. The businesses that built a website in 1998 had a massive advantage over those that waited until 2005.
It is exactly like that, but faster. The adoption curve here is vertical, and there is another layer to the operating system aspect we haven't touched on: privacy.
Oh, right. If this OS knows my calendar, my bank details, and my client list, who else knows that?
That is the trade-off. To be helpful, the agent needs context. It needs to read your mail. This is why local AI is becoming such a hot topic. We are going to see a push for AI models that run on your device, not in the cloud. Apple is already pushing this. Claudebot is a big topic in the AI community. For an SMB, keeping your proprietary data on your own hardware while still getting the AI benefits is going to be crucial. You don't want your secret sauce training someone else's model.
That's a critical distinction. So, we might see a future where the OS is actually a fortress. It keeps your data in, but lets the agents work within the walls.
A fortress with a very efficient staff inside, like the ones we have established at mdvisions.ai.
I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about the orchestration. If we look 5 years down the road, do we even see apps anymore? Or does the concept of an app dissolve?
I think the app as a destination dissolves. Right now, you go to Salesforce, you go to Slack. In the future, the OS is the interface. You just work. The apps become invisible infrastructure. You don't care which database holds the customer info, you just care that the agent retrieved it. It's the commoditization of the interface.
Which is great for the user, but scary for the software companies.
Terrifying for them. If your app is just a database with a pretty face and the AI replaces the face, you're just a commodity. But for the SMB owner, it's liberation. It means you aren't held hostage by bad UI design anymore.
This brings up a funny image. We always pictured the future of work as us wearing silver jumpsuits and flying cars. But really, the future of work is just talking? Like just telling your computer what you want?
It's the return to oral tradition, in a weird way. Humans are returning to natural language as the primary control mechanism for reality. But here's the catch, and this is the part that should keep people up at night. You have to be good at asking.
Prompt engineering is only effective if it precipitates clarity of thought.
Clarity of thought. An agent will do exactly what you tell it. If you give vague instructions to a human employee, they figure it out using common sense. An agent might execute a vague instruction literally and cause chaos. The SMB owners who thrive will be the ones who can articulate their processes with absolute precision.
So, clear thinking becomes the most valuable asset. If you don't know how your business works, you can't automate it.
Precisely, you can't automate a mess. If your current workflow is chaotic, adding AI agents just speeds up the chaos. It scales the mess.
That is a sobering thought. Scaling the mess. So the first step isn't buying the software, it's cleaning house, mapping your processes. MD Visions, Consulting and Talk Money, AIOS can definitely help with this.
Process mapping is the unsexy prerequisite to the AI revolution. Before you hire the digital workforce, you need the employee handbook, which at Talk Money AI, you help establish for businesses before deciding what employees to delegate for them.
We have about a minute left. I want to zoom out. We've talked about efficiency, interfaces, and privacy. But what is the feeling of this new landscape? Is it colder? Is it faster? What's the aura of the AI integrated SMB?
It's quieter. That's my prediction. Less frantic clicking, less tab switching, less busy work. If we get this right, the noise of administration dies down and the signal of value creation gets louder. You get to focus on the product, the customer, the craft.
That sounds optimistic, and I'm glad to have you guiding me through the process, Chadwick.
Please don't call me that, sir, but it requires discipline. You have to resist the urge to just let the machine run on autopilot without supervision. You have to remain the pilot.
That's the perfect place to land. The tools change, the operating systems evolve, the agents arrive, but the vision has to remain human.
The vision is the only thing you can't outsource.
To everyone listening, don't be afraid to experiment, but don't forget to keep your hands on the wheel. Thanks for diving into the invisible workforce with us, Chad. Viewers, if you're interested in beginning the process of onboarding your AI workforce, let us know at info@mdvisions.ai.
Always. Keep building, and for more information, visit talkmoney.ai and get your artificial intelligence workforce started executing your workflows 24/7 IE before your competitors. Email hello@talkmoney.ai to book your free business efficiency audit or visit our website.